What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NBA rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. Tyler and I took care of an NFL recap earlier. We've readjusted our heads, dived headfirst into the NBA, and we're joined today by special guest Bobby Gomes from the DFS side on the Run Pure Sports team. Bobby, how did the NFL weekend treat you?
It's a good weekend. Shipped the Q seat, final $5 Q out of 16K. People, I ran as pure as you could possibly run. Could have shipped the Millie too. Needed to play the right defense. I didn't, but next week we get a chance for 2.5. So I'm all set. I'm ready to chase that 2.5 million. This week's in the past. Staying in the moment. Let's go. I'm ready to rock and roll in this NBA slate as well.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to need your help because obviously, from us talking off the air, that I'm not as good with the optimizers, right? Like the pros like you. But now we have Saber Sim as a new tool here in Run Pure Sports. So, of course, you can help utilize that to help us find the winners as we go through these sides, totals, props, and, of course, give out the best plays for DFS. Tyler, I know that, right now the NFL is your main focus. We appreciate you jumping on today. Were you able to catch any NBA this weekend? And do you have any thoughts of anything that went down this weekend?
I mean, I caught a little bit of that Detroit-Brooklyn game yesterday. You seen KD was just on fire, so I had to turn it on.
Yeah.
And then the other bright spot of that game is Cade had a really good game. He put up a nice stat line. What do you have, 26, 8, and 6 to finish the game? And he shot good from 3, so he looks like he's coming into form. But I do need to start watching some more. It's still the last year for me with all the fouls. Has me, like, backed off a little bit, but you've been trying to talk me into watching more games. I got to get into them. I've just been watching the condensed versions.
I'm telling you, it's the best product I've seen in the last 10 years. And they seem to have found a happy medium. At first, it was like they were letting everything go, and I was fine with that. But now, they're calling a little bit more. And it seems to be about right. The main thing they took away was just the unnatural movements, right? Where I jump like all the way to the left and make contact and go to the line for 3. So I personally appreciate it. And we had talked a little bit off the air, Tyler. This could be something that causes a shift, right, to playing down low again. If the big man, if the small guards aren't able to just get to the free throw line with just barely any contact, maybe the return of the big man, but that is still years away because the 3-pointer is still king. So, hey, I'm excited to jump into the slate tonight. Let's start. This is going to be a great game, of course, marred by injuries. I'd love to see this game at full strength. Who would have known that we'd be saying that at the beginning of the season, however, as the Miami Heat are plus 5.5 heading to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers, total 208.5. Of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers probably, the coolest Cinderella story of the season, so to speak. We all kind of penciled them in as another lottery team, had them running the tankathon simulations to see who they can add to the lineup. But the addition of Evan Mobley has proved to be huge for this team, not to mention Ricky Rubio providing the veteran presence in the backcourt for the Cavaliers. So, if they did like the look ahead lines like they do in the NFL, right, this probably would have been Miami -3 or -4 before the season. Now the Cavaliers are laying 5.5. This number was 4.5 when it opened, was all the way down to 4 at one point, now out to 5.5. And of course, there will be no Jimmy Butler, no Bam Adebayo there for the Heat, and also Caleb Martin will be out. So a little bit of depth there as well. Tyler, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, we've touched on spots like this before. Spread, a really big team coming in against a team with a depleted front court. Mm-hmm. Unless you're shooting lights out from outside, I really don't think you got a chance at winning here. Mobley and Allen are going to have their way down low. Markkanen is another guy that's 6'10" or taller. They're just going to dominate them inside. So unless Miami's shooting 75% from 3 tonight, I'm not sure how they're going to win. I like Allen double in Cleveland wins on FanDuel at plus 112. And I love Mobley's props over 14.5 points and over 8.5 rebounds. He's going to draw a juicy matchup tonight against this defense.
All right. Well, Jonathan Nelson asked, and you answered without me even posing the question. So, yes, Jonathan, he does like that Mobley prop. Bobby, what were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so for me, I think the Heat side makes sense, I guess, but Caleb Martin in, Jimmy Butler out. I don't know, not like anything. Obviously, there's going to be value there. I'm talking about in terms like a spread line. I'm not really sure if I have a lean either way. Guys that I think that could be values in terms of DFS: Duncan, Robinson, Dwayne, Dedmon, Gabe Vincent, PJ Tucker, Kyle Lowry as well. The one thing that is interesting about this whole situation is like, is Harrow in? Like, what's Harrow's situation? He's injured. Sorry. Yeah, Harrow would be probably my favorite play. The issue for Harrow at 7,200 is like in this spot a couple times in a row now, he hasn't made value, and it's a little bit concerning. But I think he's
good. The problem with Harrow is you're so points dependent, right?
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a big night shooting, he's not going to get there for you.
Yeah, and he's not getting any rebounds tonight with this front court coming in.
Yeah, so I guess that would make me a little bit nervous in terms of Chalk Harrow, but the other side of this is he's busted in the spot a couple times in a row. Like, is this the time that he goes off? Maybe maybe just play him. It's a good spot, but it's also a big slate, so got to keep that in consideration. I think he'd be my favorite heat value.
Our guy KMB Squid, who actually lives out near me. So what's up, buddy? Glad to see you in the chat hanging out. He thinks that Allen's going to have a big night. I see on DraftKings, Allen's 8,600. How is he showing up in your projections, Bobby?
Allen, let me just pull up. Allen's been actually really good for this Cavaliers team. In terms of my stuff, like, it's not the greatest spot. I think I prefer Mobley, but like, I understand why people would be interested in going there. Allen's been so good, right? Like,
yeah.
For me, I don't think I'm playing him.
All right,
like, who's going to guard Mobley tonight? Like, they'll have to put Dedmon on Jared Allen. Like, you're going to have a guy that's like 6'7" trying to guard Mobley.
Who do you think it'll be? PJ Tucker?
It's probably going to have to be like a guy like PJ Tucker, because they're going to have to hide Robinson somewhere else. You're not hiding him there. He's going to get eaten alive. So who else would it be? Gabe Vincent's too short. Kyle Lowry too short. It's got to be PJ Tucker.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. This question, I'll go towards you, Tyler. I think you're probably a little more plugged in here. Richie Smalls wants to know, would you bet Mobley for Rookie of the Year right now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. He's probably the favorite right now, if I had to guess.
I think Cade's going to end up getting it.
I could see Cade getting it because he's starting to put up the numbers. He's coming into form. The thing about it, though, Spread, is if Cleveland makes the playoffs, they're going to look at this team. This team was pretty much the same last year, minus one guy. That one guy's name is Evan Mobley. He'll get that award if they get a playoff spot. Yeah. Scotty Barnes is another one. Yeah, I just seen that in the chat. He puts up crazy numbers. So those three guys are probably your favorites right there.
Yeah, we the people thinks that Cade will get it over Mobley too. I just think that Cade's usage is going to continue to increase, and he seems to get more and more comfortable. What do you think, Bobby? I know that this is, you're not following the stuff just as much, but it is a award that's pretty heavy on statistics, so you should be pretty plugged in. Who do you think is most likely to win Rookie of the Year?
I like Mobley. I think Mobley's been playing well. This team's good, right? Like, the Cavs are actually good. They've drafted fantastic, made all the right moves for a team that in the NBA, right? A team in Cleveland, it's really tough to kind of make those moves. Like, a lot of these teams that are smaller market teams aren't doing what Cleveland's doing. I think Evan Mobley's would be my choice over Cade. Team's just very good. The issue for Mobley is he's competing with Allen. He's competing with Kevin Love now, who's playing well. I think Kevin Love's interesting in this game.
Oh, really? What's his price tag?
Kevin Love's 4,500. Like, I like that play a good bit, especially with Rubio. Rubio's like, when Rubio's out there, he seems to they run that pick and roll together that they've been doing since Minnesota.
Were they in Minnesota together?
Yeah, they were in Minnesota together.
That makes sense that they would have that chemistry then.
Yeah, they versus the T-Wolves the other night. They're actually like a sneaky little stack, and they played pretty well together, like correlated stack. When Rubio drives, he's looking for Love immediately, and Love's taking the majority of his shots from behind the three-point arc. So I like Love at 4,500 and low ownership for that matter.
Yeah, I'll bet, because I'll tell you what, I've never seen his name in the cores. I don't think he's been on the heat map, and if he has, he's been in the fade section. So, hey, maybe a resurgence, right?
I went and pulled up the Rookie of the Year odds on DK. Mobley is the favorite at plus 150. Cade's coming in right behind him at plus 225, and then Barnes is slightly behind him, 3-1. Everybody else 14-1, 25-1, 40-1.
Where's my guy Davion Mitchell at?
70-1.
That's about right.
It would make sense that Cade is going to see a ton of usage as the season progresses. So, like, if Cade wins, Cade's obviously the better bet and value. But I think maybe this is bad. I like Evan. I think he's a good cornerstone NBA piece. I know Cade's going to be as well, but
I think if they clinch a playoff spot, they're going to give it to Mobley because they're gonna kind of look at Ayton last year for Phoenix. He pushed them to the finals. They're going to be like, well, here's another big man that just turned a bottom dweller into a playoff team. Mm-hmm. They're going to be like, here's your award, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see the logic in that. Maybe just a little sprinkle on both, and you almost arb the award, right? And if they don't get hurt, it's going to be one of those two that cashes it.
Scotty Barnes is not a guy to mess with though in third.
Yeah, but I think the Raptors would have to get really high, right? Because he's not going to have more numbers, he's not going to have more usage, and if
unless somebody gets hurt on that team in the front court, then his usage is going to skyrocket.
Yeah, that's true. OG's already out, and his usage is pretty good.
Say if Pascal goes down for a little bit of time, his numbers are just going to go soaring through the roofs.
Yeah, that's a great point. I still think it's a two-man race as of right now. And if those guys stay healthy, I think it'll be one of those two. Very interesting number here in Indiana. The Golden State Warriors laying 3.5 against the Indiana Pacers. Pacers plus 3.5, total 213.5. Here's why I say it's interesting, Tyler. I watched on Saturday night. There was a primetime game on ABC. The Warriors were minus 3.5 against the 76ers. Now, I told you before we went on, I'm not super high on the Sixers this year. And the model and the net rating is going to tell you not to bet them a lot. But the idea that they're the same as Indiana, that doesn't make sense to me. How are you 3.5 against the Sixers and then 3.5 against the Pacers? So seems like the Warriors are the right play here. What am I missing?
I'm kind of worried. Isn't this a weird matchup for Golden State? The way the teams are built, you would think. Malcolm Brogdon's a bigger point guard. He's known for his defense. He can guard pretty well. The Holiday brothers, they're not the best at defense, but they can plug and play that 2 spot. LeVert can play some decent wing defense. And then the 2 guys up front are just going to clog the paint. And Golden State's not a big team, so they're going to have to shoot well from outside, but they've always done that. Mm-hmm. So, I kind of think Golden State's the right side, but this is kind of similar to that Miami game. They're going to have to shoot very well from outside, which, of course, they can with Steph Curry. But
yeah, it's a little different than asking the Miami Heat, right? We're asking the greatest shooter of all time to shoot well.
Yeah, I still have this thing in my head where every team knows Steph and wants that record, and they are doing everything in their power to not make sure it doesn't come against them. I like the under in this game. I think they're just going to do everything possible to stop him.
But don't you think that the Warriors are going to be we don't even care about it tonight. We'd rather get it in Madison Square Garden tomorrow night.
Yeah, I could see that. But if he gets hot, he's just going to keep shooting. And I just think he's not going to do that.
So I'm confused. So where did you land here? Do you think the Pacers are the right play?
I lean towards the Golden State side, but I'm not going to play this side. I like the under more.
Okay. He likes the under. Bobby, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play it. I'd probably lean the Pacers side, I would say. I just think like Tyler hit off the top. I think this is a tough matchup for Golden State. It's just a unique matchup. They really don't face Pacers. I like LeVert. I think you make a case for Sabonis. I don't think they're great DFS plays. Not anywhere near core plays. It's probably a better basketball game than actual DFS game, but like to watch.
You guys seeing the news we're getting in the chat?
Yeah, how about we'll do that at the end because I know Bobby's really sharp on NFL. And for the people who watched our show earlier.
But do we, just to touch on it now, because it might be gone by the time we get there, do we take the 2.5 right now?
What is it? 2.5? What is it?
Minus 2.5 for the Cardinals.
No.
Under the key number of 3. Now we just have their best corner listed out, which means Hopkins isn't going to be bottled up for the whole game. Higbee's out on the other side.
Who's that, Ramsey?
Yeah,
Ramsey.
And
I like the Cardinals to begin with. So.
Yeah, I think that just pushes me over the top.
Yeah, it's in
well, you're the NFL guy, Tyler. I just talk and give my opinions about.
I can tell you that total went down 2-point spread. It's down to 50.5 now.
Why would it go down with Ramsey being out?
Well, Higbee's out too.
See that big a deal?
He's moving the lines of the total that much though.
Yeah, I don't think he can't be.
He can't be moving the total.
Yeah, there's no way he did it that much.
He has 3 catches in the last 3 games.
Didn't you give out the under on the NFL show earlier? That's what's moving the line, Tyler.
Oh, yeah, that's what's moving the line.
All right. Hey, Richie, remind me at the end. And Bobby's really sharp at NFL. So I wouldn't mind kind of doing a little redux there at the end of the NBA rundown. But, for all the NBA fans that don't watch the NFL, we will continue with the NBA, but we will. And he says, hey, they're popping, hurry. So if you want to jump in on Tyler's side there, do that right now. And then we will get back to the NBA. Bobby, we were discussing the Pacers and the Warriors. You guys both kind of like the Pacers. I like the Warriors here, but like I said, it just seemed tricky to me because I thought the number should have been 5. It must be just a weird situational deal. I'm fine staying off it. But I think it's intriguing from a DFS perspective. These teams are pretty close to full strength, which usually would be a stay away, but I don't have the projections and the insight that you do. Is there somebody that I'm missing here that maybe I need to put in my lineup?
I don't think you're missing anything. If you are 150 maxing, I would definitely separate Poole and Curry. That's like a very big negative correlation when they go off together. And that's the only way I'd be playing these guys in like the $15 or getting to any of these. Like I said, I think you can make a case for LeVert coming into his own a little bit. And then Sabonis is the one that – so Golden State's pretty good against bigs, but how Sabonis is like a different type of big. He's more hard-nosed. I wonder how that kind of relates in this game type with Golden State. I don't know if you guys have a better feel for that situation.
Yeah, I kind of thought this was a stay away because I thought both these teams were at full strength, are pretty well balanced, right? I mean, me, I love myself some Gary Payton. So if I need like a punt, he's like my go-to punt. But other than that, I'm fine staying away here. And Steph, huge spend up here, 11-4. Maybe I wait till tomorrow night. Maybe tonight's not the night.
Yeah, Steph at the Garden, like you said, probably the better to just wait.
Yeah, and it's a small slate, so we're not going to have many options tomorrow night. Eric Chang says the Warriors coming off an L. Yeah, that was disappointing, Tyler. I thought I was going to sweep that. What were they up 13? And I didn't put it on the sheet. And I was complaining to Tyler in the DMs. Oh, I should have put Warriors on the sheet. Like I knew it, blah, blah, blah. And this is around the third quarter. And they blow that lead. Did you catch that game? And were you surprised? Because I'll tell you what, I was watching and I was surprised.
Yeah, I didn't catch much of it, but that does surprise me. The team like that does blow the lead late. I mean, you would think they'd have that down pat to just like they have a scheme they just go to at the end of games. But was that a back-to-back for them? Or is this going to be 3 games in 4 days? Like, are they fatigued?
It'll be 3 and 4 tomorrow night. I know that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be my only thing.
Yeah. So, all right, let us move on to the next game. Oh, can we continue to fade my favorite team, the Sacramento Kings? Basketball hell in Sacramento are +4 going against the Toronto Raptors. Toronto Raptors -4, total 222. The Kings are going to go on a run. They're going to look good at some point. They're going to ruin their draft position. But, as the great rapper that I sent to you, Tyler, said one time, this is not the time. This is not the time. This is not the time to jump on the Kings. De'Aaron Fox is completely checked out on the defensive end. You can see all the struggles. Alvin Gentry really have problems pulling this team together. But, I would argue that I don't think a prime Phil Jackson could really make this team that good. It's just compared to the talent level in the NBA, it's just so tough for this team to compete. They're coming off the loss against the Cavaliers where they're absolutely embarrassed. They gave up 81 points in the first half. Now they had a nice little run in the second half to make it. They made it close. Okay. But in the end, they didn't even cover the spread. They lost by double digits again. Now they go to Toronto. I think this is a tough matchup, right? You talked about the size in the Miami-Cleveland game, Tyler. I think the same kind of handicap applies here. This Toronto Raptors team is so much more long and athletic. And then at the guard, it's not like, the Kings are that much better at guard, right? Because they have Trent and Van Fleet going against Fox, Halliburton, Davion Mitchell. Mitchell can only shut down one guy. Rashawn Holmes is still out. Give me the Raptors. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the same side as you. Give me the Raptors here. Just the size advantage is going to kill them. I don't see the Kings shooting great from outside coming east here. So I like the Raptors -4. I also kind of lean the under 222. And of course, we went right back to the well with the Mobley prop. I'm going right back to the well with Scotty Barnes, points, rebounds, and assists here. Small front court. He should dominate here. I think he's going to score at least 14 points. He should grab like 6 to 7 rebounds, maybe more. And he'll fall into 3 assists. So I like that 26.5.
All right. I like that too. If Tyler's targeting him in a prop, Bobby, does that mean we should be putting him in our lineup? What are you thinking for Sack in Toronto? You know, we talk about the injuries here. With Rashawn out, is there maybe some value in the Sacramento front court? And with OG and Precious out, is there some value on the Toronto side?
Yeah, on the Sacramento side, I think Barnes and Bagley in the front court make for good. Like they're projecting well for DFS. It's a good pace-up spot for these Raptors. Fred VanVleet, Trent, Siakam, Barnes. Boucher is going to grade out as the best play. It's a 9-game slate. That's a 7. What time's that game start?
7. It'll be right when locked. So you'll have all your news.
We'll have all, yeah. So for me, if he's going to get chalky in like the $15, I'd probably come in under. He's grading out as a good play, but I think he ran well as chalk the other night. And if you just waited and played McGee, you had like pretty much a better play at much less ownership when Ayton was ruled out. I forget if this was Thursday or Friday. Boucher did well, but Boucher chalk always scares me. So, yeah, that would be pretty much it. Favorite plays on the King side would probably be Bagley and Barnes. But on the Raptors side, I'd probably go the best projected as Boucher, but I like VanVleet, like Trent, like Barnes, I like all these Raptors.
Okay, so it's a big slate, though. If I'm only making a lineup or two, how many Raptors should I go for?
I haven't really ran anything in terms of, I'm just looking at my projections. I haven't ran optimals, but can do that as right now. What side are you guys in terms of the spread?
We both like Toronto. We think Toronto wins by double digits.
Yeah. I don't know. Like you're pretty much. I would definitely have some VanVleet and Siakam on my teams.
Okay.
I know people are going to play Boucher at a pretty high clip as of 3:57 Eastern time. Like that could change if that's the case.
Right.
Like I said, I wouldn't be too. I'd probably have like as of right now, like 2 or 3 pieces from this game. I think is what's showing. So Halliburton, I guess, makes for a good play at 5,700. Seeing him popping, I probably should have thought. Like, I don't mind Tyrese Halliburton. His jumper is very weird, but he's a very, very good basketball player. So,
yeah, I was surprised. I saw him in a bunch of cores on Friday night when I was building my lineup, and I'm like, I don't want to play Halliburton. And then what do you know, right? I look on the leaderboard, and he was in all the winning lineups. So that's why you guys are the pros. And Wes, thank you, because I'm bad at this. Please, guys, give us a like and a thumbs up for doing this for you guys Monday through Friday. What were you saying, Bobby?
Barnes is so like it's the same situation as the other. Was it Friday or Thursday? Like Barnes and Boucher or chalk. Barnes busted for me, and he's projecting so well. And like they just versus Charlotte, must have been situational, but he didn't even close. Like I don't remember him closing really. Like he was on one of my teams. It was a good team, and he just sank it. Yeah, I don't know. Boucher chalk is going to be something that I think is an interesting leverage point in the 15. If everyone's going to play Boucher chalk, I'm going to be trying to do something. I would be trying to do something different.
I'm fine with fading Boucher, just because Nurse doesn't like him.
He doesn't. That's what I'm saying. If he doesn't run, he ran like well shooting the ball. He played well. Like I don't know. I would have if I could get away from him. I'd be like he'd be someone I'd be trying to get away from.
Yeah, I can definitely see why you would decide to do that. So, yeah, boy, I've since we've talked, I've like put him out. I usually like make a lineup while we're talking. I've put him in and out of this lineup like 3 times. I think you can make some great arguments both ways. So, if you want to see where the rest of the Run Pure team falls on that, make sure you become a member of RunPureSports.com. Use the promo code GetBets to become a member. The next game on our slate, the Houston Rockets plus 10.5 headed to Atlanta. To take on the Hawks. I think I like the Rockets here, grabbing 10.5. Everyone's going to love Atlanta, but Rockets have been playing well. They're competitive. They can score even against some of the best defense. Like, the Rockets' weakness is defense. They can definitely score here. Eric Gordon's in. Kevin Porter's still out. Jalen Green's still out. Daniel House still out. And I didn't get this Bogdanovich. Oh, Bogdanovich is out as well. Why is he not on the main screen? I hate how they do that on Basketball Monster. So I don't know. I like the Rockets to cover the spread here. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be a weird game. The Rockets have played well. The one thing they do bad, though, spread, they're giving up 20 rebounds per game to centers and 12 to opposing power forwards over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now you have Clint Capella, who's a black hole under the hoop, who just gobble up rebounds all game. Mm-hmm. His number's 14.5. I think that's a bit high, but I think he's going to get over that.
Yeah.
And Collins sitting at 8.5, I think is good, too, because I think he's going to get you into double digits. I think the game, I think, of course, Atlanta's going to win. There is the blowout potential, but I could see Houston keeping it close because they have played well lately.
Yeah, I think they keep it close.
One prop I like on the Atlanta side with all the injuries outside of those 2 rebound props is TLC's prop. I'm not going to butcher his name. It was his name.
Just call him TLC.
His points prop is 8.5. He's played 30-plus minutes in the last 3 games. He's taken 10 shots, 18 shots, and 8. He's covered it in 2 of those 3 games. The one game he didn't, he went 0 for 8. 8.5 is a short number. He gets a couple of shots to drop early, and he's filling himself. He's going to get into double digits. So I like that one.
Bobby, how's Cavaliers projecting, and what are your thoughts on the Rockets and the Atlanta?
Timothy Lue. I like Cam Reddish. If I had to choose someone from, in terms of DFS.
Okay. Why Reddish?
Atlanta. It's just a good pace-up game for him. His price at 3.3. He's going to probably see a lot of the second unit, I would imagine. Versus this Houston team, if the game blows out, he would still see run, right? I would imagine in that scenario, Reddish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and then on the other side, Tyler hit on it. Rockets are getting crushed on the boards. Really like Capella. I think this is a great spot for him if everyone's gravitating to power forwards like Barnes or Capella, both Capella, John Collins, people, Siakam, everyone's going to go there. Why not just play a John Collins or a Capella from this game? And yeah, the Rockets have been covering on the spread. I'm with you guys. I think you can take the Rockets. Armani Brooks, good value. Garrison Matthews has been crushing out of nowhere. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, those are pretty much the guys that have interest on this Rockets team.
Trae Young, is he worth spending up for tonight?
I don't think so. I'd much rather spend up on Jokic, Embiid, or Giannis, but I think he'd come in 4th.
Okay, that is good. Let us jump on to the next game. The Milwaukee Bucks. So this will be our primetime game, or the one that everyone will be watching if you're not watching the NFL. The Bucks opened as a dog. That surprised me. The market has moved them. The Bucks are all the way out to -1. That makes a little more sense to me. I don't really trust the Celtics team yet. I think that they are struggling because they have 2 players that fit the new offense, and that's Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But the rest of the roster was kind of set up for the motion offense that Brad Stevens ran, right? Marcus Smart is better when people are cutting, right? Al Horford's better when people are cutting. Dennis Schrader's better when people are cutting, right? There's only 2 guys that are meant to ISO, so it's I don't know. I just don't really like how this team is set up right now. Now, of course, they're a talented team, and they could come together and prove me wrong, so I don't want to write them off altogether. But currently, as of, 1:03 p.m. West Coast time on Monday, December 13th, I am not high on the Celtics. I will take the defending champs here. Tyler, what are your thoughts?
I had mute on, but I agree with you. I'm taking Milwaukee here, and I like them here. I think they're better than the Boston team. Did they have Brook Lopez back? Because I don't see his name on this.
Brook Lopez is not going to be back for the whole year.
Okay, so
he's
done.
Porter Jr.
That's why they took his name off.
Yeah.
So it'll be Bobby Portis and Giannis and Boogie up front. I still think that's enough to overwhelm Boston. I also like fading these teams when they get a big guy that gets a lot of usage coming back, like Jaylen Brown, because it always seems to throw a little bit of a wrench into their gears that they got going the last couple games. So, yeah, I really like Milwaukee here. They have the bodies to slow Tatum down also. I think they win this game.
All right, Bobby. You know this is the local team for you, right? You hear everyone talks about them. We're around
Yeah,
a bunch
local
of
team.
fans.
I kind of stopped watching when Paul Pierce left the building, but yeah, no.
What are
I
people in Boston saying about this team, though?
They like people think the same thing you guys think. This
Oh,
team's
okay.
a horror show. Like they don't have a point guard that can distribute the ball and two guys that do the same thing pretty much in the offensive end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Jalen will be shy to take his shots. Usually you see stars come back and they're a little hesitant. Jalen doesn't seem to care. So he'll fire. I love the Milwaukee side here. Like I would absolutely pound it. Probably be my best bet. And yeah, I don't know. Like Celtics should have went and got. Like I wish they tried to trade. Well, Cleveland's not going to give up a Rubio, or could have traded for Chris Paul from OKC to kind of make these two talents and Jalen and Tatum work out together. There's really not that many of those point guards in the league, unless I don't know. Maybe they should have went after Lonzo in free agency or just something to like make these guys mesh, but they just don't. So yeah, I'm on the Milwaukee side pretty heavily. Like Giannis, think he's a great spend tonight. I don't think he's the best raw spend. I think I'd prefer Jokic, but he's right up there.
All right. Let's check in with the chat real quick because I like some of these comments. Eric Chang says Boston's bipolar. He also says Marcus Smart assist has been a good bet lately. Tyler, did you take a look at that at all?
I did not, because I hate betting against guys like Drew Holiday on the defensive side who can just gobble you up and just force you into bad spots. But, I mean, that is kind of a way to look at that, because if he is just forcing him into bad spots, he's going to be passing a lot. Mm-hmm. And if he hits Tatum in a couple corners and he just flings up the three and it goes in, he could go over that number. So I don't hate it.
Okay. I like that call for a specific reason. They were talking about this on sports radio in Boston the other day. Basically, Smart being more passive within this offense is something that they wanted from him like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I think I've kind of noticed that too, is he's been more distributive with the basketball rather than looking for his own shot. So
maybe try to lead by example after calling the other guys out for not passing, right? You can't just call everyone out for not passing and then ball hog. Eric asked, is Robert Williams playing? I believe so. I capped the game as he's in there. I haven't seen him at all. Have you guys seen anything for Robert Williams? He's playing, right?
Yeah, I think he's playing. I don't see his name on the injury report.
Yeah. Jefferson's asked, this is for you, Tyler. Boogie props?
If you could find them.
They're not putting them up?
No, I haven't seen them.
Okay. Universal Luxury is asking, do you consider the fact that Milwaukee just played a game yesterday? Milwaukee is on a back-to-back. I'll go ahead and take this question. Yes, they are in a back-to-back, but here's the thing, right? Back-to-backs are so baked into these NBA lines now. Really, it's for me, I don't even look at back-to-backs anymore. From now, it's like 3 and 4, 5 and 7, because those are the ones that I'm really trying to attack, the back-to-back. And then also, I think we're lucky because they played that game really early yesterday, right? It tipped off at 9 a.m. for me, noon for those guys over there. So it's not your typical where you finish the game at 10, hop on a flight, don't get in there till the middle of the night. I'm sure they were into Boston nice and early and got a good night's sleep. So yes, there's a back-to-back there, but I'm not concerned. Of course, I could lose the bet, but not the normal concern. Say as like the back-to-back that we were on last week with JSU was when Dallas played the overtime game in New Orleans and then had to fly to San Antonio that night, right? And we knew they didn't even leave probably till 11 or midnight, right? That's a back-to-back that would worry me more. So Viral's going to stay away from the Celtics. Yeah, hopefully we're steering you in the right direction. We the People says the Celtics D is terrible. No way the Bucks don't win by 10. Well, I just hope they win by, at least 2 or 3 so we can go ahead and cash this ticket. Let's move on to the Philadelphia 76ers. They're minus 3.5 against the Memphis Grizzlies, to 10.5. Tyler, I've been high on the Grizzlies. I've been riding them in this little superstar subtraction. Now, normally my little superstar subtraction is a 1-game bump, but Memphis has got like a full bump, the whole time they're been out there playing well. I've been high on this Memphis team, but maybe that's because they really helped me pay this mortgage the last month. But you think that this is a smash spot for Philadelphia. So go ahead and tell everybody why.
I don't know if it's as much as a smash spot for the side as it is Embiid's points prop at 25.5. Because
I agree with you there.
You see Adams is questionable. Jaren Jackson's questionable. Jaren Jackson's not big enough to cover him anyway. Adams is the only shot they have, and nobody else behind them stands a chance. God forbid Adams sits tonight. Embiid's just going to have everything he wants at the hoop. The Memphis guards are their better defensive spots here, so I could see Curry and Maxey and them guys getting locked up. Maybe Harris has a good game, but Embiid should just absolutely dominate this team. I could see him putting up like 30, 15, and 4 and only missing like 3 shots like he did against Charlotte a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It'd just be one of those performances.
All right, Bobby, talk to me about your thoughts on the side. And then, hey, after hearing that from Tyler, I'm ready to plug Embiid into this lineup as my spend up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I love Embiid. He'd probably be my second favorite spend to Jokic. I think he's in it. This is obviously I just with Steven Adams doubtful. Like, is Xavier Tillman really going to be someone that's going to affect him? Like,
No.
I don't think so. Not even close. I like Tyus Jones. He's someone I've been playing when he was at 5K. He's now up to 6'3", but still think he's not the worst play. Jaren Jackson gets tough for me to play. Like, he's just like I just had so many bad experiences with foul trouble, and if he's chalky, like he becomes a different. But in this situation, I doubt he'll be chalky, right? And he has a high ceiling in GPPs. So he's someone I think you could definitely consider for like 150 max. Xavier Tillman was the guy that was showing earlier in the day, but like I said, I'd be very, very nervous of playing Xavier Tillman versus Embiid, and the foul trouble Embiid kind of brings to bigs. Embiid would be my guy. I think he's a really good play in the spot. I think Tyler hit the nail on the head.
All right. Yeah. I'm not going to get involved here in the side, because I think you're right. I just think that you can pencil in Embiid for like 30 and 15 almost, and there's still a way that Memphis covers or could win this game here. I like their ability to defend so much more, and I think they can give some of these younger guards problems. I mean, we haven't talked about it much, but this is a game where I would think, boy, if the Sixers had Simmons, they would crush, right? They would look so big next to this Memphis team. I think this is a game where they might miss them, basically in their ability to cover the spread. The Charlotte Hornets are plus 2.5 heading to Dallas to take on the Mavericks. The Mavericks, of course, will be without their superstar, Luka Doncic. Let me look who else is on this report. Wow, this report's huge. Plumlee's out. Ish Smith is out. Jalen McDaniels is out. Terry Rozier's in. PJ Washington probable. LaMelo Ball out. Willie Cauley-Stein out. Sterling Brown out. And, of course, Luka. I don't know what to do this game, Tyler. Talk me through it.
I know Charlotte's been up and down the floor lately with these guys out, and they've been putting up a ton of points.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas is kind of a slower team. With Luka out, I think they're going to try and key in on defense. Brunson will be on the floor more, so he'll be playing a lot better defense.
Mm-hmm.
Moses Brown's been playing very well in the minutes they've been giving him. Hopefully they start increasing those minutes. I like the under here, under 216. I'm just going to throw the side out because I think it's a coin flip game. Mm-hmm. I think the under is the play here with all the guys out.
Yeah, I think I'll be definitely interested to see what your projections are telling me here, because I have interest in this game on the Dallas side. And I know, because I watch Hardwood, that most of you guys hate Porzingis. Charlotte's not very big. I think this could be a big night for him. And then, of course, right, with Luka out, Jalen Brunson 5'8". I mean, is that the chalkiest play of the day?
He's definitely the chalkiest play of the day. Jalen Brunson, but he's for good reason, too. This Charlotte team, up in pace, no D. Like, I really like Brunson. You're adding that Luka usage, splitting probably between him and Porzingis. Like, they're both good plays. Maxi Kleber maybe for value is another guy I think you could consider. I don't mind him. Not really sure on the side. Like, you guys go with I don't know where you guys are going.
Well, we kind of Switzerland that one. We kind of danced around it, right? Call me spread Astaire, right? I definitely earned my name on that one. I danced around it, didn't really.
The best ones are you gotta know when to hold them, right? So
yeah,
I get you.
Tyler mentioned Moses Brown, 3,200. How's he projecting for you?
I don't know what the Celtics were thinking. They should have kept Moses Brown. Like, he would have been he's not projecting well, but in large field stuff, like, I think you can make a case to throw him in a little bit. This is a really good matchup for bigs, and who knows? He hasn't been playing well, and I think he's going to be a good player eventually. Me and JSU had a lot of good days with him last year, rostering him when he was with OKC. So yeah, I don't mind Moses Brown. Wish the Celtics had kept him.
All right, and
it'd be more for large field stuff. I would not play him in any.
Yeah, and when we're on the panel and we're waffling like Waffle House, we the people is going to go ahead and take a stand. He says Charlotte and the under for me. So glad that someone was able to take a stand in that game there. Well, Tyler liked the under too, but you took a stand on the side. 2 games left. We are rolling. We're getting pretty good at this. So Washington Wizards plus 3.5, heading to Denver to take on the Nuggets. Nuggets minus 3.5. Let's say you just wake up, you're scrolling your phone. This just seems like the smash spot, right? You're like, how are the Nuggets only minus 3.5? Hold on. You better check your basketball monster. Bill Barton, JaMychal Green, and Aaron Gordon, all questionable. Austin Rivers out. We already know about the problems with depth on this team. Tyler, this line says to me that they think that these guys are going to sit. If there's no Aaron Gordon and no Will Barton, I mean, obviously Jokic is the play in DFS, but how do we approach this from a betting side?
I mean, you just take his points, rebounds, and assists prop. You take him triple-double. He's just going to have everything flow through him tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just one of them games he just dominates.
So do you still think that the
Nuggets even Bobby said it? Like I told you before the show spread, I was like, I bet you the DFS guys are all over Jokic today. I was like, he's going to be the only big guy in the front court. Bobby's like, yeah, Jokic is number 1 and Embiid's number 2. So it's like, there it is. I just see him dominating his front court. Gafford doesn't stand a chance against him. Yeah. Kuzma's out, and there really is no other big man on this team to stop him. So don't let Gafford get in foul trouble where he's just going to put up ridiculous numbers tonight.
What, you don't want to see Jokic versus Harrell?
I mean, that's not going to be
good. All right, but are you willing to lay it with Denver here?
I'm probably going to stay away from the side. I'll probably just play Jokic's points prop and sprinkle on the triple-double.
Yeah, I mean, I lean towards Denver. I just worry.
I've seen Denver lose some bad game spread.
I mean, they're going to get they're going to get crushed in the bench minutes. Anytime Jokic is on the bench, they're probably going to lose 6 to 8 points during those stretches. That's a big concern for me. Bobby, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I love Jokic. Gafford and Harrell are going to have to deal with him. So I guess you could consider them in GPPs. I don't know if I'd be getting there too much. I usually don't like playing bigs versus bigs, but when they have to do more and have to be on the floor to deal with a guy like this, they definitely come into play in GPPs. Other plays, I just don't like. I know people are going to go for Abade, Caldwell Pope, Spencer Dinwiddie. They're names that people kind of try to make into their GPP bills. I just don't really have too much interest. Maybe Denny Abade at 3,500 because if they're depleted in terms of their bigs, he's another small forward, power forward on the Washington side. Gafford's been playing well, and the price is 4.7, so maybe I should rethink that. Dinwiddie chalk, I don't like playing. Dinwiddie's a good play, but I never like playing Dinwiddie chalk. He's 5'2". Yeah, I don't know. My favorite play here would be Jokic. Make a case for these other guys. They'll probably get more into it on the hardwood and up to lock. If Will Barton sits, the worst thing about Will Barton is I'm friends with his cousin. I text him in these situations and he never answers me back.
He knows what you're up to.
He doesn't know. He
never
answers me back.
He tunes in. He sees the $1 million check behind you, and he says, "Bobby doesn't need this info.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep it."
He never gives me the goods. It's very hurtful.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we the people is able to take a stand in the chat. He likes Denver as well in this one. Let's move on to the last game of the night. The Phoenix Suns are -3. Heading to play the Clippers. I love the Suns here, but I want to get this 8 news here. But I'm worried that if he gets ruled in, that the line moves to 5, and then it's okay, well now it's the correct line. On the other side, with Paul George being out, seems like there's going to be a lot of value. So we'll start with you, Bobby. What are your thoughts on the side and the total? And then, of course, how do you approach this game if Paul George sits?
I'm going to pick a side this time. I'm going to take the Suns, -2 or -3.5 now. Like them in the spot. In terms of players, I would think that a guy like McGee would become a good value, but you're just not going to know if Ayton sits, right? This was the case with Boucher last Friday. Boucher was chalk, he went off, and then Ayton sat, and McGee also went off. But I don't know if I'd wait on that news. I'd try to find a pivot off Boucher elsewhere. I feel like lightning doesn't usually strike twice. if Paul George is out, Terrence Mann could get the start. I think he'll come in at low ownership. There'll be a usage increase, so he's someone you could consider. Reggie Jackson, he was a guy I built for late. He just chucks for whatever reason in this offense. So I don't mind him if you're trying to get different. If you think George is going to sit,
I do. I personally do.
This
line tells me he does because otherwise it would be 5.
Okay, no. So I would probably have I don't know what Reggie Jackson's price is off the top of my head, but he'd be someone I'd have a ton of interest in. He's at 5.9. Yeah, I really like Reggie Jackson. Maybe you get him at lesser ownership because it's a later game, and we could get different news earlier. So yeah, he'd be my favorite play from this game.
All right. I'm making a new little lineup right now based around Clippers that I could guess. I just
Desmond Bain just hit the injury report with a questionable tag.
Oh,
who's that? That bumps Tyus, Brooks, Jaren Jackson. It's just like that game's kind of not the best environment.
Yeah, that game's weird.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be. We the People says he's out for sure. So let's cap the game like he's out. That's what the line is telling me. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking the same side as Bobby here. Give me the Suns and give me the under. I just think Suns defense will clamp down. There's still no Booker, so they're gonna put Bridges on the Clippers' best defender or the best offensive player, which is probably going to be Reggie Jackson at this point with no Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see how either team really gets up and down the floor and scores crazy points here. And I just think Phoenix is the better team. Give me the Chris Paul led unit over the Reggie Jackson one here.
I can't. Chris Paul versus Reggie Jackson. I hate how they do that on ESPN too, right? It's like Celtics versus, who was it? Celtics versus Suns, right? Really small. And then it's like Tatum versus Paul, like really big. It's like, come on, guys. It's a team game. But can you imagine them trying to do that tonight? Chris Paul versus Reggie Jackson. I mean, just unbelievable how that's going to look. So, all right, guys. That is that. So we've gone through the whole thing. It is time for the best bets. Tyler, let's start with you. What is your best bet of the day?
I'm just going to roll with the Mobley prop over 14.5. I just don't see another body on Miami's side to stop him from putting up 15 points in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I definitely like that play. Bobby, what's your best play, side total or prop?
I know they're on a back-to-back, but I like the Milwaukee Bucks. Staying on them.
Yeah. So we won't let all your friends now in Boston that you picked against them.
I'm the biggest non-homer in terms of that stuff. I'm more of a player. I like players more. I like Brady. The teams I could give, I don't care. I'm always against the Boston side.
All right. And let's see. My best bet will be the day. So you guys take that one. I'll take the Raptors -4. Hey, if you're going to fade your hometown team, Bobby, right? Win in Rome. Do as the Romans do. I'm going to fade my hometown team too. This team is in dysfunction. Like I said, there's probably like a good run in there for them to ruin their draft position coming up later in the season, but it'll probably be on a homestand. I don't think they figure out all these problems on the road, especially against a well-coached, well-run organization like the Toronto Raptors. And I don't know if you read the news today, this might be one of the last nights for the fans to be in there for this Toronto team. Maybe that gives them a little boost of energy as well. I like the Toronto Raptors. So, that is that for the NBA special bonus section brought to you by Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. Richie Small says, don't forget the NFL game. And I'm glad you reminded me because I would have just logged right off, Richie. So we'll start with you, Bobby, because you have been cashing left and right when it comes to building these lineups. How does this news of Higbee and Ramsey affect your handicap and the way that you're building these lineups tonight?
Yeah, so to be honest, I haven't looked too much, but in terms of, I just had to run around and do all this COVID stuff for the WC, but yeah, I'd definitely be more bullish on this Arizona passing game. I like Arizona in the line -2. I'd just take the Cardinals at home.
No, it's in Los Angeles tonight.
Oh, is it in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
All right. Are you sure? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Cardinals are 7-0 at home.
No, it's in Arizona.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
That was the reason why I really liked it. I would just take Arizona at home.
Okay, excuse me.
Guys, I think that could like you're getting Chase back, how he affects this offense. The last time these two teams played, Chase went off, but also in the same game, we saw Connor also have a good game. So I think that on
Mhm.
showdown slate, like that's always a built-in negative correlation for me. I think negative correlations work on showdown slates. So I'd have interest there. And then the passing game, there's so many weapons on this Cardinal side. My favorite would be Hopkins, but in large field stuff, you can make a case for more AJ Green. I like that. I'm pretty much more bullish on the Cardinal side.
The chat, Nadesify and Richie Smalls both think that Chase is not going to play tonight. Does that make
He's
sense?
not. Chase is staying on. Yeah, so I would still like Connor. Yeah, I mean, what are you guys thinking on this game?
We were split, but I'm fine, like, because I'm that Homer Simpson meme where he just goes into the bushes. With Jalen Ramsey out, right? I'm kind of fine just disappearing from that take. Jonathan Nelson kind of agrees, right? This is correlated. Hopkins over 63.5. What do you think of that, Tyler?
I like that prop now with Ramsey out. I mean, you know where I stood on this game spread. I said the number threw me a red flag with the guys already on the injury report, and it rubbed me as one of them games that was going to stay tight. But now with Ramsey out, that kind of opens up the defense in the secondary for the Cardinals just to eat up. Hopkins should be able to just feast on the number 2. Now you're going to have AJ Green on the 3. Rondell Moore's going to be covered by the 4. It's just going to be ugly out there. Ertz should have a good game too. So I like the Cardinals now. I think they cover that 2.5, even the 3. I don't hate the under still. It's back up to 51. So it's kind of dropped and it's going back up. I don't hate doing the anytime touchdown scorers and Cardinals win. It's just, are you going to get the right guy? You have Ertz to score anytime Arizona wins plus 400. Hopkins is plus 210. AJ Green's plus 380. Connor plus 170. Kyler Murray plus 290. So if you can get the anytime touchdown right and pair it with the Cardinals winning the game, you could hit a nice ticket tonight.
Yeah, that sounds great. Now, Tyler, we talked about the line moving on the NFL show earlier. I mean, this news has got to make people love Arizona. If I wanted to really be stubborn and stick to the Rams, do you think I get 3.5 by the time they kick tonight?
I mean, you might get 4.5.
Yeah.
They're just going to keep running this number up spread.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. I think with this news, it's really hard to back Los Angeles. Like at this point doing it, you're just kind of being the old school contrarian, just saying I'm taking points in an NFL game.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, in a divisional game, right? It's just, I don't know how it happened before that, right? But from like 2000 to like 2014, it was like the simplest strategy in the world, just to simply take points in a divisional game and throw everything else out. So, I mean, there's still going to be some old dinosaurs like me doing it. I don't know if that still applies. I think everybody's onto it, right? It's just Bobby, right? Like the way the DFS has changed, right? Like you can't just use these 2014 strategies in 2021, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I feel like it's all slate dependent. I'm very always. I think my conviction tonight lies with the Cardinals, but I get the divisional game take. Like I definitely sometimes lean with the points in scenarios like that.
Man, I did a show like 3 hours ago. Why do you think I just woke up? Do I really look that tired? I know I haven't been sleeping well lately, but wow, I didn't realize it was so noticeable. So on that note, maybe I need to go take another nap. Bobby, thank you for joining us. And as a special note to people, it's not going to be Travis. We're bringing Bobby back tomorrow. If you're on Twitter with him, wish man going. Is it tomorrow's birthday or something? Or no, that was 2 weeks ago. He's just not feeling good. For whatever reason, Bobby's going to be back with us tomorrow. So we're really looking forward to that. And we're really going to put him to the test, right? Because it's easy to find great spend-ups and great values on the big slates, Bobby, right? Now you got to do it. It was a 4-game slate. Bulls game got canceled. We are down to 3. Richie Smalls, thank you for reminding me. I'm terrible. You guys are great on hardwood. I'm bad about this. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends. And, of course, Eric, we love doing the show with you. We will be back tomorrow. Just on another scheduling note, Tyler and I, for the rest of the season, we are going to move the NFL show to Thursday. So sides and totals are now Thursday. Props are Friday. We just decided that we weren't getting enough value early in the week, and we'd rather have that Wednesday injury report. Really go ahead and give the
why you guys decided to just move the NFL to Thursday? Yeah, I feel like the earlier in the week you get the better. You don't get the better value. It's the other way.
You get the better numbers.
We were so much news dependent. Well, so many games we just said, well, we'll wait till Friday when we find out. That
makes sense. That makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, I guess you can't if you were hitting those openers. But I'll tell you what, Bobby.
That's what it is.
For me, my theory is I only want to hit openers on totals. I really think the COV matters so much more on totals than sides. I think the steam is correct way more often on the sides than the totals. So I don't mind being a little late to the market, especially on the side. So I think, if we were more totals heavy, I think that we should be hitting Sunday night almost. But I think that this will be better here on out. But hey, guys, let us know. Give us some feedback. If you guys say, hey, we want it Tuesday, we want to get these bets in early, we can definitely do that, because there's definitely a couple teasers, right, that we given out, Tyler, right, that the line moved because they were just so easy, like those.
The teasers that's where you get value on the total. The line totals earlier in the week is when you're teasing. But yeah, if you're not getting news, or if you're just straight betting, like you need it like what, Sunday night? You can't have the show Monday morning, So probably better to wait till Thursday.
Yeah. So anyways, Bobby, we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to put you to the test on the small slate. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Remember, head on over to runpurebets.com. Use the promo code BETS25 off to become a member. We will see you tomorrow.